We have arrived. Pentecost. It sums up the whole Easter season and in a very beautiful way completes the whole message of the death and the resurrection of Jesus Christ. This moment of Pentecost. Now the word itself, Pentecost, is actually the old Greek name for a feast day among the Jews. It was the 50th day after Passover. And so, as Christians, we are really, in a sense, joined with our brothers and sisters of the Jewish religion in celebrating a feast to God. Now, for the Jewish community, Pentecost is a reminder of the great events that took place on Mount Sinai when Moses received the law, the 10 Commandments, as well as the whole, as it said, the Torah, which is the first 5 books of our Old Testament, is the Torah, is the law for the Jewish people. It's a great gift. It's a gift to us too, but it's a great gift the Jewish people look at as the ultimate gift that God has given his people. It's very interesting that early Christians experienced, the disciples of Jesus experienced, an outpouring of the Spirit on this very feast day that they were gathered in Jerusalem to celebrate the Pentecost, the coming of the law. But they would experience the coming of something else other than the law, which was the Holy Spirit to descend on them. But in a very similar way. It's very interesting when you read the book of Exodus, the portion, you might say, that has reference to this event on Mount Sinai. It's very interesting how it's described. It says here, on the morning of the 3rd day there were peals of thunder and lightning and a heavy cloud over the mountain and a very loud trumpet blast, so that all the people in the camp trembled. Those are the people of the children of Israel gathered, having escaped Egypt. But Moses led the people out of the camp to meet God, and they stationed themselves at the foot of the mountain. Mount Sinai was all wrapped in smoke, and the Lord came down upon it in fire. The Lord came down upon it in fire. And even there's some reference in some of the commentaries that it was like tongues of fire, because it was to illuminate the people with the law, which spoke of God's presence and what God wanted his people to do. And again, the people say, everything the Lord has said we will do. And this beautiful moment that is summed up also, you might say, in the teaching of the Acts of the Apostles. It's interesting how they describe it. And suddenly there came from the sky a noise like a driving wind, and filled the entire house. And then there appeared to them tongues as of fire, which parted on each of them, and filled them with the Holy Spirit. And they began to speak in different tongues, and the Spirit enabled them to proclaim the message of Jesus. So this outpouring of the Spirit, in a very similar way to you might say, the events on Mount Sinai with Moses, indicate to us as Christians the outpouring of that Spirit, that Holy Spirit. It was to take hold of God's people, and it was to make of them a people. In a very real way, the Jewish community looks to the law, the Torah, given to them on Mount Sinai as the basic way to identify themselves as God's people. As Christians, we know that we are identified as God's people through that Spirit of God that touches our hearts, enables us to believe, to have faith in Jesus Christ, to go forth to be baptized, to experience the presence of the Spirit, and to share that Spirit. It's very beautiful in that passage from the book of Exodus. There's a mention here. Therefore, if you hearken to my voice and keep my covenant, you shall be my special possession, dearer to me than all the other people. Though all the earth is mine, you shall be to me a kingdom of priests, a holy nation. You shall be to me a kingdom of priests, a holy nation. That was, if you recall, just recently we heard that in one of the letters of St. Peter to early Christians. He's actually just repeating, taking up, lifting up the ancient teaching of the Torah and applying it to our Christian community. That we are now this kingdom of priests, a holy nation, because we have the Spirit within us that enables us to find courage and strength, peace and blessing. What a beautiful way to celebrate the completion, we shouldn't say the end of the Easter season, the completion of the Easter season, because the completion of the Easter season pushes us out into the world again. Having celebrated the death and resurrection of Jesus, we are now, you might say, filled with that Spirit and able to share it with the world around us. God bless you, and may the Holy Spirit be in your heart.